I want to talk to you guys about the pros and also the cons of the industry. There has been some workplaces that I've worked at and they've not been that way. So a lot of our wage as bakers comes from penalty rates. You can have quite a good work-life balance. So when I say that, so trying to get some time off can be quite difficult. To me, this one is a pro, but to other people it's a con. So take it as you will. This is probably going to be quite controversial, but hello everybody, welcome back. Today I wanted to talk about the pros and the cons of working within the baking industry, being a pastry chef, a baker, a chef, anything within those remedies. I want to talk to you guys about the pros and also the cons of the industry. Before I get into it, just thought I would introduce myself. So hi, hello, I am Gabby. I'm 26. I live here in regional Victoria, Australia. I am a pastry chef, qualified pastry chef by trade, but I'm currently on maternity leave as I had a baby 9 months ago, but I will be going back to work soon. So my content will consist of me being a stay-at-home mum because that is my life at the moment. And then when I do go back to work, I will then start making more videos in regards to my career. I do also have an Instagram if you guys wanted to go have a look at that. It's just under Desserts by GL, all pretty much just dessert content. So if you're interested, go have a look. And if not, well then don't. So everything that I say within this video is just based off where I am within the industry. So I currently work in a bakery. The bakery that I work at is under the retail sector when it comes to pay, hours, all that sort of stuff. All hours and pay and everything is all different. Workplace is all different depending on which industry you plan on going to, whether it's working in a bakery, you work at a cafe, a restaurant, a hotel. All of it is very broad and all of it's very different, but I am just basing it off my experience and I'm just basing it off some of the workplaces that I've worked at and just some of the workplaces that are in my area. So anyway, let's get into it. So I am going to start off with a pro, and that is you get to be creative. So where I work, I pretty much have free will to bake whatever I want to make. Before I started working here, they just made like very basic stuff: hedgehog, jelly slice, vanilla slice, continental slice, just really basic bakery items. And then when I came on, they wanted to do more pastries. They wanted to do danishes and eclairs, and they wanted to do biscuits like biscotti and yo-yos and chocolate chip cookies and all those sorts of things. So when I came on, I was able to just have complete free range on making anything that I felt like making. So I would make things like cheesecakes, and I would do different choux pastry and different biscotti flavors. And sometimes that's not the case when you go work at other bakeries. They will expect you to make certain things and you always have to make those certain things. But my boss is a lot more laid back and he gave me pretty much free range on making whatever I felt like. He obviously gave me ideas of things that he wanted me to make. So he wanted me to make eclairs and he wanted me to make different flavored biscottis and all those sorts of things, which I had no problem making. But yeah, that's quite a big pro. You just get to be quite creative. So if you are working within a bakery or kitchen or whatever, a lot of the time some workplaces are quite open to hearing your ideas. There has been some workplaces that I've worked at and they've not been that way, but if you work in a pretty supportive environment, they're pretty willing to taking on your ideas or letting you be pretty creative. So it's a pretty good pro. The next thing I'm going to talk about is hours. Now, this comes with pros and this also comes with some cons. The pros is depending on which hours you work, you can have quite a good work-life balance. So when I say that, the hours that I used to work before I had my daughter, I would work 3 a.m. till 11 a.m. I would go to bed at 8 o'clock at night, which worked fine for me because me and my husband we just chill on the couch anyway from like 7:30 onwards. So like we didn't really do much. So me going to bed at 8 o'clock didn't really make much of a difference because my husband then went to bed at like 8:30, 9 o'clock anyway. Then I would get up at 2:30, go to work at 3, and I would finish at 11. So then I had the whole day to either go get my hair done, I could go to the gym, I could go do any appointments. You could literally go do whatever you want for the rest of the day. If you feel like you need to go take a nap, just go take a nap. You do get quite a good work-life balance depending on what hours you work. I know some of the places do 4 a.m. starts till midday. Some other places will do like afternoon, so you work from 4 till midnight. But then there also are cons as well, again, depending on which place you work at and what hours they have to offer. With the boys that I work with, some of them don't have that luxury. So the hours that some of them work is from like 6 p.m. till maybe 2 or 3 in the morning. Some of them work from midnight till 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm lucky enough that I have different hours to them because I can just bake all of my sweet stuff during the day because it lasts a lot longer, like it lasts for a couple of days. Whereas the bread needs to be made fresh for the morning, so they have to work overnight, which would suck. But it just depends on what you're looking for. So I know some of the boys that I work with, they actually prefer to work from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. Some of them are fine to work from midnight till 8 a.m. Like they're fine with that. I know that's not the case for a lot of people. So just depending on how you look at it. For me, I did quite like the work-life balance of having the whole afternoon to myself, but then it's also shit because if you've got plans, you have to leave early or you can't go because you've got work, especially if you have to do a Saturday shift. It can be quite shit. It's just depending on which angle you take it at, really. Another pro when it comes to hours is if you are looking to do extra hours, you do have that ability to do extra hours. I know sometimes during quite peak seasons we would do very big hours, so you get to make extra money. Some people don't want to do the overtime, which is fine. Everybody is different. For me, before I had kids, I was only going to go to the gym or chill out at home, so it didn't really make much of a big difference for me. So if I had to stay an extra hour or two, I didn't really mind doing that. It's just extra pay. Another pro, but also is a con, depending on which avenue you're in, is money. So a lot of our wage as bakers comes from penalty rates. So penalty rates usually starts from 6 p.m. all the way through until 6 a.m. So when you are working through the night, your wage goes up a certain percentage, depending on which part of the night that you're working at. So you can make up to, I know a qualified baker, they can make up to almost maybe $40 to $45 an hour. You do have the ability to make almost 80, 90, 100 grand a year if you were someone to work all the way through the night. Otherwise, if you are someone who works during the day, like myself, the average wage is roughly between only 50 to 65,000, which isn't a whole lot. But this also is depending on which avenue you are working in. So if you're working within a bakery or a cafe, it goes under the retail sector. So the retail sector in Australia is the lowest pay grade for a baker or pastry chef or whatever. The next highest one from, I believe, is if you worked in a restaurant or a hotel, and the highest is those who work within a factory. So if you were baking within, say, like a warehouse, having like a big commercial kitchen in a warehouse and just doing wholesale, they generally make the most. It ties in with the hours, so the money will depend on what hours you work. If you worked all the way through the night, then you get all the good penalty rates, then you get to make the top tier money. But if you work during the day, you do only get the minimum. It just depends on the workplace as well, depending on what they want to pay you consistently, on how long you've worked in the industry for, how much qualification you've got. All of that ties in with your pay. But if you were to just work during the day or really early hour in the morning, say like 5 a.m., 4 a.m., 6 a.m., then you only get either a couple of hours of penalty rates and then the rest just are at base level rate. Next, I'm going to talk about holidays and having some time off. So a couple of the places that I have worked at, and when it comes to getting some time off during peak season, you are most likely going to get denied. That includes weekends such as Mother's Day and Father's Day. Around here in the regional area, that can include footy season, which goes from like May until August. I know us bakers struggle to get time off around then in the regional area. Another time can be during Christmas and New Year's or leading up to Christmas. So you are quite limited on when you are able to have that time off. Also Easter is another one. So trying to get some time off can be quite difficult because you only get certain small periods of the year that you're able to have some time off. It's not that you're not allowed to have time off, it's just that you're most likely going to get denied to have the time off during those periods. So you can get time off, just not during peak season. To me, this one is a pro, but to other people it's a con. So take it as you will. But it's quite physically demanding work. Now, for someone like me, I love working on my feet all day. As silly as that sounds, I love being on my feet all day. I love being extremely busy during a shift. I thrive in a busy environment. It's fast paced. It's a lot of physical work. You are lifting 25 kilo flour bags, 20 kilo sugar bags. So it can be quite physically demanding work. You do need to be quite physically fit to do the job. A lot of the stuff that you do make will weigh quite heavily. Some of the dough that the boys take out of the mixing bowls will weigh like almost 50 kilos. It can be pretty physically intense work. I don't make bread, so that's not a worry for me. But I still have to lift like the 25 kilo flour bags and the really heavy sugar bags and all those sorts of things. A con is that the workplace can be quite hot. So when it comes to summer, especially here in Australia, and it's like a 40-degree day, it's going to be like 50 degrees in the bakehouse. Our air conditioner, it's been renovated now, so I'm pretty sure the air conditioning is not too bad. But before they did the renovations, it was bloody hot in the summertime. I did want to end in a good note, but my last one that I am going to be talking about is more directly to women in the industry. If you are working in any kitchen or in a bakery, it is mainly a male-dominated industry. There has been some times of dealing with men who are very egotistical. This is probably going to be quite controversial, but you can come across men who will be quite egotistical, or they will try to intimidate you, which I do not put up with at all. In any workplace, you're going to have those people who have quite a high ego, or they try to intimidate you. And I've seen some other people trying to give advice on social media of just ignore them, boys will be boys, blah blah blah. I would not put up with that shit. At the workplace that I work at, it was probably the first time that I was really interacted with, they're not there anymore, so it doesn't matter. It's the first time that I ever interacted with blokes who try to intimidate me or think that they can tell me what to do. And to be honest, you just need to put them in their place. If they try to intimidate you because they think that they can intimidate you, you just need to show them that you're not afraid of them and you're not going to tolerate their behavior, and you need to stick up for yourself. I've had people, they would make comments on the stuff that I make thinking, oh, I could do that better and blah, blah, blah. I just wouldn't put up with it. The second that you allow them and just put up with it and just ignore it, it just generally gets worse. Honestly, if you're working in that workplace, it's probably toxic and you shouldn't be working there in the first place. But if you like the workplace that you're working at, like myself, I quite enjoy the work environment that I am in. Unfortunately, you sometimes are stuck with or deal with people who think that they can intimidate you, or they have the highest of egos. Just don't put up with it. You need to stick up for yourself. You know what your skill set is and you know what you're good at, and you don't need to put up with that shit. I certainly don't put up with that shit, and now that the boys that I work with know that, and don't try to do it again. So anyway, those are my pros and cons of the industry. For me, I love my job. I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's everything that I have ever imagined. Where I have been in my career, it's definitely been one of my favorite jobs ever. I get to be creative, I get full responsibility within my section of the bakery, and it's just a lot of fun. So if you are someone who loves working a hands-on job, who loves being creative and all those sorts of things, I would definitely get into the industry. Where I studied at William Angliss Institute in Melbourne, and they were fantastic. So if you are interested, I definitely would go and suss it all out, because it definitely changed my life. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. I just don't want to say that. I'm just going to say I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to follow along with my journey, I soon to hope to go back to work, so I'll be documenting all of that. So if you want to follow along, please subscribe. If that's not for you, then don't. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!